we go out virtual. We hang out on, the Facebook platforms, the Instagram platforms. When I'm out doing programs, we're always looking for people behind the chair that are crushing it big time. And tonight is no different. Good friend Liz Rose. Liz and I go back a few years. I've had this extraordinary opportunity to watch her grow over the years. I would consider her a retail Jedi, a social media retail Jedi. She knows how to grow people. She's got one of her people here tonight. I'll tell you about them in a second. Liz is a Summit Salon owner, owns a Salon Ethos in Newport. Her coach, the Lukester, Luke Allen, or sometimes we call him Luke Huffstetter or the Huffman. He's just in the game. So this is, it's just an extraordinary Summit Salon that continues to grow big by staying small. I mean, 2016 cracks the $500,000. 2017 just this side of 6. 2018 another 670, trending 7.5 this year. So she's grown. Newport, Oregon, and I've been there. It's a small community, and she just continues to crush it as well. But look at the retail, guys. 25%, 25, 24%. They know how to bring the retail experience into guest service. That's why I invited them on tonight. The salon's average ticket is $65. Salon haircut price is $29. So you do the math on that. The average ticket is about 2.5 times the base price in the haircut. So they're covering it big time. Total guest count 3,259. Referrals are running at about 6%. Salon new business is at 9%, and they're rebooking at 70%. Those of you that have been following the conversations know that when you add these three numbers together, to the degree that someone is over 80%, they're in 85, 90%, which they're at, that base is growing. And they're growing because they've been on, if you Google salons in Newport, yes, number one on page 1. You can go right from her Google page right into her salon website page. Click on the Instagram icon, and so her social digital branding is all in place as well. Now, also, we invited one of her people on tonight, and I go back with JANAE WEILBOLDT as well. When a couple of chapters in her life. She's in the green room as well, and she was kind of grew up with Liz, and now she's with Liz on Ethos level 4A on the front end of 30-something. Average ticket. Look at the average ticket, $107. That's her average ticket is 90. Her haircut price is $41. She's doing about just under 100 referrals a year. Rebooks 86%, running at 20% retail. And continues to crush W2. So I wanted her on tonight with Liz because we both go back, and I know that she's got some things she wants to share as well. JANAE, graduates high school in 05, hair school 06, begins working with Liz at First Summit Salon in 07. That's an interesting part of the story I think you're going to enjoy. JANAE takes off for a few years for whatever reasons to become independent, and then rejoins Liz in 2013, and they've been blowing it up ever since. So both of them are in the green room. Keep your fingers crossed. We're going to bring them out, and then we're going to have the conversation with them as we always do. And here they come. You should be giving up for these guys.
Hi. How's it going?
Did you hear me bragging on you when you were in my green room?
Yes. We're excited.
I know you are. All three of us have been like giddy all week for the opportunity to do this. Good to see you again. You heard me tell the world that the three of us go back a few years.
Yeah, just a couple. Almost 20 years, Michael.
I know. I knew you when you were 20-something, and you knew me when I still had hair.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Well, listen, we always love to get the story, Liz, and I know the story, and I want the world to hear the story. So, in a nutshell, who is Liz Rose, and what was your life like before you got kind of hit by the whole summit thing?
Oh, goodness. Well, I was really blessed that I was introduced to the summit early on. In fact, the salon I was in, as you remember, Michael, was in the first summits when summit was happening in your living room.
Yes, you were the very first summit salon to come to. That's right.
Yeah, so that was pretty intense. And the salon that I worked for at the time, we jumped on board with that, and it was mind blowing to me. I was a young mom, single mom at the time, and going, just trying to take care of stuff on my own. And I don't know, what was I, like 22, 23, something like that, and introduced to the summit. And I had no idea the possibilities that were going to be offered to me. And I just jumped in it hook, line, and sinker. I was lucky that I didn't have any preconceived notions of other ideas. So I just jumped in, and it changed my life, because that first year I was placed at a level 2. And I went from a level 2 to a level 3 to from a 3 to a 4 in the first 12 months.
Liz, I remember. I want to really tonight. It's almost like a homecoming of sentiment, gang. Liz was one of the very first salons that come to the very first summit in my living room. I think it was like 2002, and she was placed in a level. I remember she freaked out, and there's a couple other people who freaked out. And then you with that salon for a few years, and then you get a vision to do this, and which was a beautiful thing, because both you and the previous owner are beautiful people, and then you kind of move on to the next chapter. What is the next chapter? What made the difference for you?
Well, I spent 12 years in that salon, and it was amazing. I learned so much, and I grew not only as a stylist, but also as a leader, because I became an associate trainer. I also, in that early time, joined Redken as a Redken artist, and that really helped me cultivate and realize my passion of teaching, and that my biggest thing is I love to teach and pass on this information to other hairdressers and to help grow people. So it was really the natural progression to open my own salon company and to create that environment and that culture that's all about education and team and guest experience, and to be able to cultivate it in the way that I'm the most passionate about. So that was the big thing, is like, I know my calling now, and my calling is to grow people.
You said something key, because you were one of the first people I watched this happen to, where you get drenched in summit, and then you get involved in Redken education, Redken artist, Redken business, and it was almost like that was pouring nitroglycerin on this big summit bonfire, and you were in that fire. So there was something about that connection, which was a 1 + 1 is 4. So what's it like for you now? I mean, you got JANAE with you, fast forward 18, 19 years, and some extraordinary stuff's happening. Catch us up to that part.
Yeah, so we're going to celebrate 8 years this October 31st for our company being open, and life now it's amazing. I have a phenomenal team, and I have a great leadership team. JANAE here by my side has been with us for quite some time, and she's an amazing example of the possibilities, and we're just continuing to see that growth. Each year we're going further, and to watch my team be able to start out as that nervous, anxious hairdresser and not knowing what's going to happen, and is this really the right career? And their parents or their families tell them, don't go into the industry, there's no money in it, and all those things that we hear. To be able to see them flourish and grow, it's a continual thing. And JANAE is a great example, which is why I wanted to bring her on, because she started from the beginning and now is a leader and will be our very first shareholder at some point. So
tonight's just loaded with sentiment. And JANAE, I'm going to ask you to sound off in a second, but just by coincidence, Dave Kirby's on tonight, and he was at the first summit with you back in 2002. So it's like a big homecoming tonight.
Hi, Dave.
So JANAE, like, as you kind of like, I can only imagine what it's been like for you, because there's a story inside your story, inside of this story. So in a nutshell, what is your story, and how does that relate to this conversation?
Yeah, so my story is I originally met Liz at the first Summit Salon that we were a part of, and she first inspired me there just to grow, and the passion that she had for the industry was phenomenal. And so I had stayed at that salon for 5 years, and at that point Liz was opening her salon, and I was ready to try something different. I felt like I had enough knowledge and the willpower to go independent. And so I decided to go ahead and be an independent contractor. Then I quickly realized in about 1.5 years that I was leading to burnout. I missed the education, working with people that were like-minded, that I found myself working alone a lot and lost passion quickly. And I was working twice as hard. I wasn't making any more money. I became very stagnant for years. And so at that point, I had contacted Liz and said, can I please come back and be a part of the team? And I'm forever grateful back. It's been an amazing ride the last couple of years, and she just continues to inspire me and push me in a comfortable way to continue to grow for myself and for my clients and for the team. And it's been an amazing ride.
That's the golden part of the story, JANAE, because you two once upon a time were peers. I know because I trained both of you. I was in that salon when you were there. So you were, you started out together, and then when Liz decides that it's time for her, for whatever reasons, you had to go on the other side and see. It sounds like you did. You came back, and now you're like blowing it up big time. So I love that story and what it points to, because it's the power of we, which is greater than me, huh?
Amen.
Trusting the process.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. And you're just like, Liz said, we have to have JANAE on. I don't want to go to do the interview without JANAE. And I said, of course. So I'm really grateful that you could make it for us tonight, JANAE.
Thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, wonderful. Now, Liz, where the hell do you go from here? I mean, like, what's next for you as you look out over the next 365 days or so? What's the next area in your life?
Well, the next area in my life and my next, again, my purpose is to grow people. And I know that I am here to serve on a larger level. To be able to share with other hairdressers, work with salon owners. And as a Redken artist, I've been doing that. But now my focus, I started out as a colorist with them, and that has been amazing. But in the last few years, it's really shifted into more of this business, team building, culture building, and helping to grow the person and the team as well. Because we know that when we're personally grounded and we have all of that in alignment, then it just naturally happens that our success behind the chair is going to grow as well. So my passion is to not just continue to grow my team, but to continue to go out there around the country and serve hairdressers in a way that, basically share with them what's worked so well for me and give gratitude for those that have taught me as well. So
and a lot of your Redken homies are on tonight. Charlotte Gardner-Green, she's here.
Hi, Charlotte.
Heather Beaver is in the house. So these are all of your buds that you guys hang out at RAC. So what a wonderful homecoming. Now, Liz, there's a whole bunch of people that are watching tonight, and they'll be watching a few thousand over the next couple of days or so. They're where you used to be, and they're looking at you, and they're looking at JANAE, and they're seeing a vision of what's possible, but they're not sure. They're almost like saying, I can identify with these two, I can relate, but can I really get to the place that they're at? What might you say to them that would inspire them and give them hope and fuel to go for it?
Well, number one is really taking that time to look at yourself, your career, where you want to be, and setting that intention. Until we set the intention, we can't move any further. So to be really clear on that, and what is my intention, where am I supposed to be, what is my calling? And when you have that, then it has to go back to, again, to yourself. Personal grounding. I have a lot of mentors in my life. You are one of them, Michael, as you know. And I have surrounded myself with, I always like to say, to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you is always a good idea.
That's very smart. Very smart.
Yes, it is very smart.
Yeah.
So I've done that for almost 20 years. And I believe that what helps to keep you grounded. It helps to keep you humble as well, because there was a time in my career that my ego got a little out of control and things started to slip. But I had those mentors in my life, as you shared with me, Michael, that giving that permission of that welcomed intruder, someone that can call you out on your crap and be like, hey, what's going on here, to help you grow and get to that next place. So first step always is intention and working on yourself before you can do anything else.
Now, you've got your finger on something very sacred here, because I bet you probably mentioned that 10 times. Intention, get clear. But what I'm hearing you say is you didn't like sit down and like figure this out, your intention all by yourself. Through being on the receiving end of coaching and mentoring conversations, I'm sure JANAE would say the same. We have to have conversations with people that are smarter than enough, because out of those conversations we get real clear about what our intentions are and what they're not.
Absolutely, completely.
Yeah.
We have to surround ourselves with people like that, because, the stuff that I share in my classes, I didn't make this stuff up.
Right.
I'm just sharing with what was so graciously shared with me. Right. I'm just good at taking it and putting it into action and then sharing that with other people. That's the only difference, but it's all out there for us.
Right. Now, there's another piece of this conversation. We got about 2-3 minutes left that I really want to make sure that you bring to the table tonight. And I know that the guest experience is paramount at Salon Ethos, that you put an enormous amount of focus in that. And I want you to talk about, whether it's from consultation and how you teach the guests, because I have a feeling there's a connection between that and why you guys are running at 25% RTS.
Hands down, absolutely. So first of all, we have to understand that nobody can make a sale. I don't care who you are. No one can make a sale. All we can do is create the context in which a sale can be made. And what does that context look like? And it's all about guest experience. 85% of the reason why any guest comes back to a salon has everything to do with the experience and nothing to do with the actual service. So we have to look at that experience. And part of that experience is retail. Even if we don't want to recognize that and acknowledge it, it is, because it's about teaching them. How many guests sit in your chair and they say to you, oh my gosh, I wish I could make it look like you do. And our little egos go, well, you can't, because I'm amazing. And that's not how we need to look at it, right? It has to be about teaching them. And that's our big point of difference. And when we sit down with the consultation, they know from the get-go, from the beginning, what our intention is. I always share with my guests, my intention for you is that when you leave here today, you feel beautiful, confident, and more importantly, you can recreate this hair even better than I can. And I'm going to teach you everything that I know. I'm going to share with you the products I use, how I use them, how to apply them, and I'll answer any questions you have. And we're going to spend that time working together so that you feel so confident. And on top of that, I'm going to share with you some industry tips and tricks that's going to make your life so much easier.
So I'm guided. First of all, I would say what you're doing is simply genius. There's a simplicity in it, but just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. You guys are pushing the envelope all the time. And I'm sure you know this as an educator, both of you, and JANAE, you're welcome to weigh in on this, where you'll hear it out there, well, I can't get clients to buy the product here because they can buy it wherever, online here, that over there. Are there any things that you say or bring to the table that compel the guest to continue to stay loyal to Ethos, to buy product from Ethos?
Absolutely. First of all, we have found that when you start out in the consultation and you start talking about these things in the beginning, we see a lot less of that happening, number one. Because usually a hairdresser is going to start talking about the product at the very end. It's the end of the service, like, okay, so this is what I used on you. Do you want to take something home with you? And they'll say, well, I can get it at Ulta or whatever. But if you are taking that and you're actually teaching them and working with them with that product hand in hand, and they're touching it, they're more apt, because you're building this relationship and this trust with them. And now they're invested in you. Now, if they do say something to the fact of, I could buy it at Ulta or I could order online, we just simply say, I completely understand that. But my hope is that you will choose to purchase your products with me, because every time you do, that helps to increase our education funds, and we're able to give you the best looks possible. And honestly, when you say it with that type of integrity and that you're asking them to choose you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to, because they don't even know that that's where the money goes to. They don't know that that's why it's happening. We have really found, Michael, that if you set it up in the beginning, less and less of that happens. And again, we live in a town of 12,000 people. Right. So if we can have this type of result in a town of 12,000 people, anybody can. Yeah. And Amazon's everywhere. Anybody can use that excuse, but it's usually because we're not actually making the offering to the guests and teaching them and putting their best interest at heart.
I'm loving this. Now, before we sign off, I want to just weigh in with JANAE as you're listening to this conversation. Is there anything that you want to bring that might support anything that's been said by Liz? I mean, I love what she said is you begin that commitment on the front end of the consultation experience, not the back, and that it's about relationship building. Anything that you want to add, JANAE?
Yeah, I think it's just about teaching and educating the clients and being genuine with the recommendations for them. And I think, for me and sharing with my clients that it does benefit our own education. They're excited about that. They continue to ask, what classes are you going to next? And they're seeing the benefit from supporting us local.
I love it. Well, listen, we're out of time. I normally don't go over, and we did, Liz, and I wanted because you were talking in tongues tonight. But you're really.
My father would be so happy.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, I want to thank you both for joining us. I'm going to sign you off so I can summarize some of the things you said because they were profound, they were simple, and they were essentially important. So thank you very much for hanging with us. I want to stay close to you, see what the rest of your year is like, and invite you back and tell you that I'll see you on the Redken campus.
All right. Sounds
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks,
Give it
Michael.
up for one more time, you guys. Will you please? All right. Wonderful. I don't know about you, but I absolutely loved what she was saying about, first of all, she talked about the guest experience. And that it was all about the guest experience and how retail are tools and resources that enhance the experience. The experiences when the guest has memorable, exciting, delightful, surprising, relevant, emotional episodes and moments of time. And Liz was saying that conversation starts on the front end. That 9 out of 10 hairdressers start product conversations way in. And that's fundamentally set up on the front end of the consultation where the intention is clear. It's said to the guest, I really want to make sure that the experience you have in the chair today, as well as when you go home, is you look great, you feel great, and the biggie is you're able to not just recreate the look, you're able to recreate the experience. So she's saying, teach them, teach them, teach them. JANAE said the same thing. So it was extraordinary. I want you to give it up for him one more time. All right. So another great show. If you're new to us, this was our 160th episode. Facebook is the platform that we use for these conversations. Michael Cole Summit, you're on it now. With this particular page, it really has become like a learning channel for social digital training for people in the salon and the spa, whether it was owners, service providers, front desk operators. So continue to hang out with us. And oh, by the way, you can hang out under the same handle, Michael Cole Summit on Instagram. We're blogging there daily on inspirational stuff and motivational stuff. We're using highlights. We use stories. So hang out with us there. You should be living on summitsalon.com. because that's where all of our stuff is. A lot of the conversations that happen every single week are people that are using the Social Digital Script Guide. Brand new, we launched this at Redken Symposium, the Social Digital Planner. These are the new resources that are filling in windows of time where people are learning to use social media strategically, intentionally, and they're blowing up their income, as Liz and JANAE were a testament tonight. The other thing that I want you to stay close to is we have a brand new, almost like Summit Netflix channel. We call it SummitSalon365.com. It is really where our high-end video are produced. You can watch it. There's a nominal membership fee, but you can watch this stuff 24/7, 365. Stuff on my Facebook page are basically kind of grassroots, organic stuff, but this stuff is really, really high potent. I hope you look into that and take advantage of it. More and more of our training now is becoming virtual. So we now have online social digital coaches to coach you, the owner, to coach your staff online. We've got social media intensive online training. Call us on our 800 number and schedule a complimentary 1-hour consultation. We'll tell you all about it. So you or we no longer have to jump on planes, trains, and automobiles to help you. we can do that much, much more cost effectively. So please take us up on that invitation. This was 160 tonight. We've got 159 before that. If you hit summitsalon.com/MC Live, you will see all 160 episodes. They've been curated where you don't have to go hunting on YouTube to find them. So, and this is all free, you guys. You should be taking advantage of this, as we all are. We now have mobile calculators where we can take how much money do you want to make this year, how much take-home pay, and the calculator automatically calculates it down to what I need to take in behind the chair daily in services and products. And then, of course, the script guides and the planners show you what you need to do with social media to hit the damn day goal. So it's like making big boom boom on steroids to the 10th power. No, but wait, there's more. We also have tracking apps, a free tracking app so you can measure what you treasure at the end of the day to see if you're hitting your goals. And this is all for free, and you guys aren't taking advantage of it, and I want you to. So please do that. So at any rate, as we always do, we always like to end by thanking our sponsors, L'Oreal Professional Product Division, and their lines are extraordinary. You know, we have Redken, we have Purology, we have Matrix, Biolives, Mazzani, Baxter of California, Pulp Riot now is part of our posse, Essie, Kerastase, L'Oreal Professional Shoe. All of these are our brands. Support our brands because L'Oreal is a major sponsor of Summit Work, and so when we all partner together like this, it all works. It all works. And of course, we are business partners with L'Oreal, and I always like to end by thanking Summit Salon Business Center as well as Salon Centric and State and RDA. So great night. I'm going to, as I always do, tell you that I love you, and I can't wait to see you for next week's episode.